What's up, y'all? Everyday Say here, back with another video, and today we're continuing the series of cheating. And so the first video was about the different forms of cheating. The second video was about whether or not he or she is cheating. And the third series, which is probably the most important and probably one of the hardest, is how to move forward with the person that cheated on you. Now, before we get too far into the video, I just want to make sure I let y'all know, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Listen, it helps me a lot. So whether you like it, whether you subscribe, whether you thumbs up, thumb down, whether you comment, whether you disagree, whatever it is, make sure that you leave something on the video. And the second thing I want to do is, before we dive too deep into this, I just want to sit with you for a second. Because more than likely, the person who's watching this has happened to them, and they're in a vulnerable place trying to figure out what to do and how to move forward, and possibly don't know how to do that. And so I want to let you know that you're not crazy, that the pain and the hurt that you feel from this is real, and that your feelings are valid. I've been on that side of being cheated, and you know, it's so easy for me to be over here and be calm and talking about it because I'm not in that situation right now. While I know there's many others out there that are in the situation, and it's so hard to focus, it's so hard to eat, it's so hard to sleep because of the disrespect, the hurt, the pain that all of that came with, finding out that the person you were vulnerable with stepped out on you. So I just want to let you know I understand you, I see you, I hear your feelings, and we're going to walk through this together. So you're in a relationship with someone, you're in a marriage with someone, and they end up stepping out on you in one of the three ways of cheating, and it hurt. It hurt. You're looking at them different. You're looking at her different. You don't know if you can trust them, but you've thought on it, you sat on it, you prayed on it, and you've decided, hey, let's move forward. Like, let's try. I'm going to stay. I'm going to try to work this out. And the first thing that I want to tell you when it comes to building a new relationship is that whatever old relationship you had, whatever that you had built prior to now, that's dead. You have to start a brand new marriage, a brand new relationship over from scratch. Meaning that the whole process that it took to build trust, the whole process that it took to become vulnerable, that has to be rebuilt on some new foundation. And many times what that looks like is the person who committed the cheating has to be in a place of vulnerability and willing to do anything to fix the relationship. And the person that has been hurt by what they did has to put some boundaries and some standards in place in order to see if this person is worth even continuing this with. So what that looks like is an open phone policy. I can go through your phone whenever I feel like it. That can be checking in every day. When you leave work, I need you to call me on your way home. That can look like whatever it is that you need in order to start trusting and being vulnerable with this person again. That means when y'all go on dates, maybe before y'all used to sit around and just kind of, talk a little bit, so on and so forth. Y'all are starting that whole process over. The dating should be like the first time when y'all met. It should be fun. It should be charismatic. There should be flirting. There should be all of that because everything is brand new. The other thing that is very important that needs to happen is you need to get all the answers to all the questions that you have. How did you end up cheating on me? How did you know her? When did y'all do this? How many times did y'all do this? How did you, when I asked you about, you going to the mall or whatever, were you really sneaking out with her? You need to ask every single burning question that you have, even if you don't really want to know the question to it, you have to ask it. And the reason why you have to ask it is because it will eat you alive if you don't. And again, we're talking about starting new. If you have a burning question that you need answered and you don't say anything to the person and you just, well, I don't really need to hear it. I don't think that this is really something important. It is going to start to eat up your new building, your new foundation, the new relationship, the new marriage that you're trying to start. It's going to eat it up. And then you're going to be half stepping because you're going to be constantly questioning whether or not this happened or did this happen, but did that happen, but did this happen? And the problem is you never asked the question. You thought it was insignificant. You didn't think that it really would mean anything. You didn't feel like you really needed to answer it. Or maybe you thought if I ask this question, it's going to hurt me so badly to my core that it's just going to break everything. But the problem is you have to have the hard conversations and you have to get the answers. If you don't, you are never going to be able to trust that person again, because the questions that you have are still going to be sitting in the back of your mind, and you're going to be thinking on them, you're going to be dwelling on them, you're going to be sleeping on them, and you're not going to have the answer to any of it. And that is going to cause discontentment in your marriage, in your relationship. It's going to cause issues. The third thing is this, and this is later on down the line. So we talked about asking those hard questions, those burning questions. You need to know all the details, because once we start anew, like, everything's fresh. 2, building vulnerability and trust again. That means if you need him to jump through 3 hoops of fire, hey, you got to jump through 3 hoops of fire. If you need her phone to be open all the time and you have access to it all the time, okay, you want them to cut off this person, whatever it is you need to in order to build trust and vulnerability again, it has to be done. Now, there are some things here that I need to talk about. So let's say you sit here and you tell them, hey, I need you to call me every day from work, and they refuse to do it. I just want to let you know that whenever you propose something to build trust and vulnerability again, and the person declines it, that is them saying that I'm not willing to do this because you're not worth me doing it. Them refusing to do the things you ask them to do that will build the relationship back, and they refuse, that is them saying that the relationship is not worth it. No ands, no ifs, no buts. If you're unless you're saying something crazy, which I'm hoping most of y'all are not on here telling them to do something to risk their life and put their life in danger, okay? But if you're asking them to do something reasonable, to open their phone, to take the locks off of all this stuff, to see their text messages, to go through their call logs, to look at the bank statements, if you're asking them to do that and they're refusing to, please understand that the relationship is not that important to them. Because if it was, they would do it. And so that's a clear sign to you that they are ready to exit the marriage or the relationship. The other small caveat that I want to put in there also is this. You cannot continue to hold things over people's heads. Listen, 6, 7, 8, even a year of that person stepping out on you, and they've done everything you've asked them to. They've jumped through all the hoops that you asked them to. They've done everything. You cannot sit here and continuously beat up on this person about what they did. There is a time, there is a place where you have to learn to forgive and let it go. You don't forget, but you learn to forgive and let it go. You cannot continuously hold something over someone's head after they've shown you months and months and months of personal work, of them doing whatever you want them to do, of them constantly saying they're sorry. No, at that point, you're abusing them. You are holding it over their head, and every time a situation comes up, you're using it to manipulate them, to make them feel bad, and constantly beat them down. If you're the type of person where you cannot let those type of things go, it's done so much damage to you, it's broken you so severely, that every situation you bring it up and you dropping it on their head constantly and reminding them of the things that they done to you, it is time for you to leave. You are broken beyond repair. You cannot fix yourself. You can't move past this situation. This is where the relationship, this is where the marriage ends.